Thank you and welcome. Alice, can you do a roll call for us?
Yes. Alderman Petrakos? Here. Alderman Capadona?
Here.
Alderman Gilugly?
Here.
Absent. Alderman Deskin?
Here.
Alderman Vandermeer?
Here.
Alderman Ferretto?
Here.
Alderwoman Bartleson?
Here.
7 present.
Very good. A couple of folks that we want to honor tonight. Obviously, Jerry Loeschen's here. We want to acknowledge his long service, and also the Lockport Township High School badminton team. Although we're going to put them last tonight because one of the players is trying to make it back from downstate, I think it was. So she said, "I'm going to be there." So we'll give. Obviously, we'll wait. But while we're waiting, I wanted to mention a couple other things that are going on too. We obviously had some vandalism at our Lockport Cemetery, which is very disturbing. Happened on Memorial Day. Chief is still in tune on the project, obviously. Right? No, it was very disturbing, and it's a cemetery that was platted in 1854. It's very old. I mean, the families of many relatives in here are buried there. Founding members of the city are buried there. The names that we still see on buildings today, whether it's the Gaylord or Norton, all those names are out there as well. So it's not a city cemetery. It's privately owned and run, but like many old cemeteries, once they get filled up and the board members who are on there pass on themselves, it tends to fall into neglect. I've had Tom Thanis actually kind of working with me on this now for a couple months, trying to find ways to how do we maintain that cemetery? Oftentimes it's overgrown. It's not the first time there's been disturbance there. So trying to find a way that we can get a board back together or find out what is the status and seeing if we can't get the buses Mr. Bus, who was the caretaker, passed away a couple months, which made it even more complicated. So a few things. One, we want to work on the long-term solutions for the cemetery. Two, how do we address what's going on there right now? I know Joe Gallus, another auxiliary officer now, in Joe Gallus Construction, he offered to help put the stones back in place, which I'm very grateful for. I wanted to make sure we had somebody who specializes in tombstones and memorials be on site to give advice. I don't want to put him up wrong or use the wrong kind of adhesive or something, so we'll kind of confer with that. But it also then stepped into another spot that's been on my mind for a few years. When I first became mayor 3 years ago, we had a Memorial Day service here at City Hall, and we do a 9/11 service. We do that every year and as well. But Memorial Day service was, when we held it, and I got together with the veterans groups, there was discouragement by them. They used to do a parade, but they just didn't do it anymore. They felt tired that it was hard, very hard to organize, and nobody really showed up for it. It was very discouraging to go through the effort to do a parade and go down State Street and have 15 people there. So they stopped doing it. And then I noticed when we did our ceremony, basically everybody packed up and did the same ceremony again at the Legion Hall. And I've tried to find a way, and I've been thinking about it, how do we do something special? Obviously a parade is not really the right venue. After all, we do the old Canal Days parade just 3 weeks later, and it's hard to get all those people who parade, whether it's the high school, to kind of do something on Memorial Day weekend as well. So as I was looking at this cemetery problem, it came to me, and that's actually the chief helped with this too, because he brought back to memory that Memorial Day has actually started as Decoration Day. After the Civil War, widows and family members, would go out to the graveyards to their, fallen loved ones who died in the Civil War, and they would decorate their headstones. Eventually, over time, that tradition became codified as Memorial Day. And so looking at what happened in the cemetery and the lack of respect that happened by whoever did it, whether it's just somebody who was intoxicated or just some young kids who just, didn't really care. Either way, I felt like maybe we can use this as an opportunity. What I'd like to do for next year is do a Memorial Day service that is something that is maybe a unique part that the city, instead of doing a redundant service that the Legion does, we gather at the cemetery. Maybe we have a tent, get under there, and we have a map. I already talked to the Lockport Area Genealogical Society. They said they would help me with this. Get a map of all the veterans that are out there. And understand, we have veterans there, like Holder Sisson. He served in the War of 1812. I mean, we have veterans that go all the way back. I think, excluding the Revolution, there's veterans from every war there. And to be able to have a map of all the cemetery, all the headstones, and give everyone some sort of ribbons or something to go decorate the stones and really kind of disperse out through that cemetery and remember who our veterans were all the way back to the founding of the city. And also gives the opportunity to begin to understand the respect that that whole place has. So try to turn this into something that's bothered me for 3 years about really and truly how to do something unique and memorable at Memorial Day, as opposed to a parade that nobody was showing up for. If anyone would like to be part of that committee, please let me know. It's really run by people. I just facilitate things, and we can have ideas, and I can help as much as I can, but really if it's not committed people to help drive those kind of efforts, they don't happen. So if anyone here is interested in that or knows someone who is, please don't hesitate to contact me. And I would love to try to make something like that happen for next year and into the future. So that's one thing. Another thing, on a little more positive note, we went to the ICSC conference a week ago. ICSC conference is the big retail conference that happens in Las Vegas every year. It's where all the retailers go and all their brokers, and it's this gigantic mix of mayhem. And this is where we try to find people to take, space in Lockport Square, or retail center, which sat for so very long. When we first went there 3 years ago, it was hard to even get anybody to talk to us. Lockport was off of everybody's radar. Lockport Square was in foreclosure, so there was really no hope for anybody talking to us at the time. Over the course of the next year, we were able to find a buyer, came out of foreclosure. We had the struggles with Target, who lost $1 billion in Canada and pulled out of everywhere. The only places they were building anymore were downtown urban places of about 15,000 square feet, so they wanted to sell their plot, which almost killed the sale, but fortunately the Janko Group bought the property anyway. So the good news, it came out of foreclosure. But even still, it was very difficult to get retailers to talk to us. I think through a great effort of Pam and staff, and we were able to get all the demographic information we needed through the retail coach that we brought on board, and they really kind of looked at our trade area, got numbers we never really understood. Nobody knew what our household median income was, and those people thought it was $50,000. Truth is, it's $96,000, which is comparable to Orland Park. But these are facts and figures that we needed to have. And so when we went to the ICSC conference the following year, we had a little bit more understanding. We told them our housing starts were up, which is everything that they wanted to know. They're like, where are the housing? We need more housing. And, who's my lunch crowd? And so all those kind of things were problematic. Well, this year when we went, we had really good information. Our housing starts are up. We're breaking ground on Sagebrook. We have new businesses. We have LG, UPS are coming to town. Julian Electric looks like they'll sign a contract. That's a corporate headquarters. And all that information, along with Lockport Square having broken ground with Mattress Firm, I mean, it's now an active site. It was night and day from where we were 3 years ago. This time we have letters of intent with the brokers for various sites, and they cover every category: clothing, entertainment, hotel, a number of restaurants. Letters of intent are the initial documents that people sign to move into contracts. So everybody was very excited. It's the most energy I've seen. I've actually seen 2 entertainment groups vying for the same spot now, so starting to get courted by more than one person for the same spot. So it's all very good news. And a lot of hard work over the last 3 years to get to the spot. I want to thank Pam, Ben, staff, and council support for, doing things like, looking at the retail coach, or Tim Flanagan, who has been very helpful the whole week, getting appointments and stuff. So thank you to the council for making these efforts possible. So look with some high hopes of things over the next 6 to 8 months. We'd like to see some real contracts signed and get things really moving along out there at Lockport Square. All right, so, have you seen our badminton person come in yet?
No, she's not here yet.
All right, no problem. So then let's go ahead and talk about Jerry. Chief, you want to come up and we'll talk?
Mayor, council members, today we're here to honor Jerry Loeschen for 34 years of service to the citizens of Lockport. Before we recognize him, I did also want to recognize all the auxiliary officers, our retired officers that are here as well. A lot of people came here to honor Jerry. Jerry began his career in 1982, March of 1982, which is coincidentally the same month and year that I started, which means Jerry and I have a few things in common. One is we're both pretty old now, Jerry. Jerry chose to retire. We spoke about his career, and he said a lot of different things to me. He experienced a lot of good things, some bad things, and some really funny things. He handled some very serious situations, a person that he confronted with a gun, another person he confronted with a knife, and many other situations. Fred Littner was the auxiliary supervisor, and when he passed away, Jerry took over the role of supervisor in 2002. Jerry partnered with many officers that later became command officers, like Chiefs Miller, Antoli, Kenzora, Draxler, and Lieutenants Justice, Tolley, and August. I think almost every one of them are here today, which says a lot about you, Jerry. He also partnered with Brian Smith, who many of you know. Alderman Brian Smith. That was a joke. And I'd like to read you what Brian said. I'd like to congratulate Jerry Loeschen on his retirement after 34 years of dedicated service to our community. I have worked with Jerry for about 14 years, and in those years I have learned a great deal about the police department. Jerry has been an asset to the auxiliary police department, and his outstanding leadership will truly be missed. Thanks again, Jerry. It's been a pleasure working with you, and best wishes to you and your family. Alderman Brian Smith. And Jerry, I'd like to present you with this plaque, and it says, anybody wants to take a picture? Oh, Rob's got it, great. Jerry Loeschen, Lockport Police Auxiliary Supervisor, with sincere gratitude and thanks for 34 years of service to the citizens of Lockport. Your dedication to the unit as its supervisor for 14 years demonstrated your devotion to the Lockport Police Department and the Auxiliary Police Program. Your influence and involvement in the program will be greatly missed. June 2016. Do you want to give it to him?
Yeah, thanks. Very good. Yes, give a speech, Jerry. They want to hear from you.
34 years went real fast with all these good people here. Great auxiliary, always have had a great auxiliary, and with all these retired, I've seen a lot of officers come through and leave, seen a lot of officers retire from here, and Lockport's had a nice police department for years, and I could write a book, I bet. I know that man there could. Yeah. But it's been great. And I rode with Vern August millions of miles probably. And it's been great. And I want to thank everybody. And you're lucky to have auxiliary in Lockport. Thank you.
Jerry, I think you said it very well. We're lucky to have an auxiliary here in Lockport, and it's absolutely true. I mean, our police force, our full-time police force is absolutely commendable, one of the best, I think, in Illinois. But the idea that we have an auxiliary force that we can just step up and do so many things that help our festivals come along, there's stuff in the middle of the night when stuff goes down and we need extra help. We can't give enough thanks to the auxiliary department, and you've exemplified it tremendously. So thank you again, Jerry. Very good. All right, as I always say, I'm not offended. Yes, Kanzor, do you want to? Please, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lieutenant August, retired from the police department here in Lockport. I had the honor of working with Jerry for 28 years. I just wanted everybody here to know what kind of job these guys do. I remember nights, and I'm sure that some of the other lieutenants here remember, when we'd be short-handed and we'd have a horrific car accident or 2 car accidents, roadways shut down that we didn't have manpower to take care of, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Who did we call? Am I right? I don't care what time of night it was. I don't care where he was at. It was Jerry. We contacted Jerry, and if Jerry couldn't be there, Jerry ragtagged and got somebody or some people out there to help us more times than I can tell you. And the real honorable part about the whole matter is that Jerry did it out of the goodness of his heart. He didn't get paid for it. He did it because he's dedicated to this city, and he's dedicated to the people of this city. And I think it's a real honor to be here, to see him retire tonight. I remember when we talked and I was going to retire, he didn't want me to go. Who the hell is he going to ride with? These young guys. He didn't know the young guys. So he trained them. That's the kind of man Jerry Loeschen is. The city had a real good man in Jerry. And let's keep that in mind. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jerry, for all your years of service. It's great to get to know you over the years as I've been on the council, and you're just a wonderful example of a true public servant, a great public servant. So thank you.
Very good. Right on. And before you guys head out, if you could stay for just a minute, Coach Hadley asked us to go ahead. Is that right? Where's the coach?
She's over there.
Okay. Come on down. So, 33 years? Oh my goodness. You wouldn't know that, you know. I know. Well, very good. Now, when you started badminton, they used real live birds, right? No, I'm just kidding. It's another bad. Me and Jerry were doing bad jokes all night. Well, thank you so much. Listen, I want to just mention what's going on. The city of Lockport wants to congratulate Jessica Miller and Haley.
This is Haley.
Hi, Haley. Congratulations. Sorry, you're not a teammate, is it? You guys don't play together, do you? Do you? I want to hear. I'll shut up in a minute because I want to hear from you guys. But you guys finished 5th in the doubles competition. Okay. At the state badminton finals held on May 13th and 14th at Eastern Illinois University in Charleston. So what a great thing. I think if you don't know badminton, you just think, oh, it's that deal that you play out in the backyard. No, man, it's intense. So if you don't mind, can you come up and tell us a little bit about, the competition and everything?
All right. Just pull it down a little bit. Anyway, before I get started, I'd like to thank you for recognizing us and our accomplishments. It's much of an honor. Thank you. I started for teaching 33 years ago, and I've been at Lockport all 33 years. And then I've been coaching badminton for 32 years, and then a couple other sports, such as golf, 18 years. I did basketball 1 year, and then shot put and discus. But anyway, so, you know, obviously I've been so blessed with staying there that long. It's, you know, I love the kids, and I love my job, and never doubted getting up and thinking, oh, I don't want to do this. So, you know, with teaching, it's the people that I work for and with are great. We all get along and work together, and Lockport Township High School is a great place to work. As far as my coaching goes, for badminton, 32 years, I've got Haley Egelhof. She's one of the doubles players. She's a senior. Her family is here. If you guys could say hi. There you go. And so Haley and Jess, Haley was on the varsity team for 4 years, and Jessica came up her sophomore year. So lots of time and dedication, and just with Haley, she would always, if the freshman or sophomore teams needed a helping hand, she was always there, staying late and helping them. We also did Special Olympics, and again, another time at night, then she was helping with that. So she's just unselfish and just a great person, and somebody that every team would want on their team. So so with that, they played on the varsity team for 3 years, and their sophomore and their junior year, both of them made it to state in singles. And so then this last year, they decided to team up together in doubles, and again, working extremely hard, it's 2 different games, and yes, we do use feathers, so they worked extremely hard, and they had their goals set, and they knew it was my last year, and everything did turn out to be very as how they planned. Okay, where they were conference champs. Their record ended up being 55-7 for the whole season, and that's outstanding. And then after conference, then they were the sectional champs. Lockport hosted, and then at the state tournament, their record was 6-1. They won the first 3 games on Friday, and that made them a top 16 team. And then on Saturday, their first round, they lost to Naperville North, who eventually took 4th place. And so Haley and Jess had to get in there and fight as hard as they could, and they won the next 3 consecutive matches. And so that led them to a 5th place. And they say, oh, we did it for you, but whether they won or lost, they gave it their all, and I was very, very proud of them. So, but it did happen to be a very good ending of my career. So, yes.
All right, well, the 4 years went by very quickly, and we did do it for Hadley. Coach Hadley has been my coach for all 4 years, and without her, we wouldn't have gotten to any of this. Her hard work, her dedication, with staying with me after practice, staying with both of us, was just extremely anything that I could have asked for, and I thank her more than anything, and she'll always know that. But like I say, every time I see her, without her, none of this would happen. None of it. But we did do it for you. Yes.
Well, that's wonderful.
Good job.
Denise, I just want to give you the certificate to say thank you. Oh, I forgot, I need to sign it. But I'm going to sign it first. And then,
It's not legit.
thank you so much for all you do and the dedication here at Lockport. I mean, what did we just get? Top 5% again? Top 10% of, in the nation of schools. That comes from you, and it comes from the kids that we have. So thank you so much for putting Lockport on the map in such a great, positive way. So thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. And congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, say hi to Jess.
Yeah,
So that you can get out.
you guys got to move on.
It happens,
But thank
okay.
you very much.
Thank you.
All right, my friends. Like I say, I'm never offended if everybody gets up and walks out on me now. You're welcome to stay.
I thank everybody again.
Bye, Jerry. All right, my friends, so are there any liaison reports tonight? Nothing going on in the big world? Did you get new glasses there, Jim?
No, just now we're in the context, giving them a break.
Got it. All right, so no liaison reports is fine. You guys got my report on the update on the retail stuff. So why don't we move on to Ben? What do you got here tonight?
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. CA1 is on your agenda tonight, the discussion in regards to the 2017 through the 2019 strategic plan. Back in 2014, the city of Lockport did approve a 2-year strategic initiative. We called it the 2014 to the 2016 forecast plan. And this was a roadmap for us and the staff and the organization to prioritize goals and objectives. And frankly, it's also part of our budget process that as part of our GFOA requirement, we need to have some kind of strategic initiative in place in regards to the documents that we follow. So we're proposing that we do a new one. I'd like to bring in an outside consultant to help us with this. We'll be focusing on many of the items that are in the forecast plan. I also included that in your packet. A lot of that we were able to accomplish, but we'll have that as a baseline this time and move forward. Where we had the forecast plan last time, it was just really department heads and the mayor. Now we're hoping that the full council can engage and collaborate and help lead the direction in regards to what the staff and administration we're all doing. We're all hired professionals. We try to have our mastery and autonomy and purpose in regards to how we run the organization, but it's great to get the elected officials to have their kind of say in regards to where we're all going for the future. Many of you weren't even on the board at the time when we did the forecast plan. So I think it's important to revisit this and move forward with this. There's a proposal in your packet from Peter Burchard. He was a city manager from Hoffman Estates in Naperville for many years. He's gone into consulting successfully for many years. I've seen him speak at a few conferences in the state and nationally, and he's a very dynamic gentleman. So we'd like to just bring this up for information purposes. Just wanted to let you know that we'd like to move together with this. He has agreed to meet with each and every one of you for an hour separately in regards to your vision for the city, and then bring that together in a report, and then we'll have about a half-day session together. So I'd like to get this done this summer, and it's important to have that final session, I think, before we start doing the budget documents, beginning even as early as September.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. As Ben mentioned, when we first came on board, the first strategic plan we had was really just me and staff and kind of trying to take what was a bit of disarray and find a way to, put it together into a vision. And I think we've done fairly well getting out of the hole. But as we look at doing this again, first, when you hear a strategic plan, you cringe. But I really want to make sure that the whole council is involved in this process. And everybody gets their input. And I thought an outside set of eyes would be beneficial to this as well. So, I agree with Ben. I think it's a good idea for putting together our second strategic plan.
I agree. When I first came on board back in 2013 and went to the first IML conference, in fact, Ben and I were sitting next to each other in one of the hourly meetings, and the presentation was by someone who actually does strategic planning as a profession, but she also happened to be a councilwoman for, I believe it was Lake of the Woods, Illinois. And what struck me at the meeting, it was like the second or third type of meeting that I had attended that weekend. And one of the things that really struck me is that every municipality needs to have three types of plans. And the first type of plan is a comprehensive plan. The second one is various master plans. But they actually have a strategic plan. And I remember bending over and saying to Ben, I've known Ben for 1 week at this time, maybe 2. And I asked him, I said, I've seen the comprehensive plan, and I've read the various master plans, but have you seen a strategic plan? And his response was no. And maybe hopefully that was kind of the seed that led to the forecast plan that we had a couple years ago. I believe it's it's always beneficial to have an outside consultant, actually somebody that actually knows what the heck they're doing when they put these things together, because that's what they do. And so I think this is very, very beneficial. We have accomplished a lot in the first 2 years, but you know, let's be honest, is the forecast plan had its 2-year anniversary in February of this year, and now it's time to put together a strategic plan. I just think that with how things have been going the last couple of years, and we can actually see things happening, this is just going to be beneficial to us, something I fully support. And no, we're not going to see immediate results as in, say, next week, but over the next 2, 3, 4 years, we will, you know, if you don't have a plan, you really don't have anything. And unfortunately, I think that explains a lot of the floundering that had gone on in this community for decades. There just never really was a plan. So now we're going to have a plan, and it's going to have to be updated. I doubt if this plan, you know, I don't think this plan can last for more than a couple of years, because things evolve, such as, you know, our comprehensive plan. We've looked at that. That document is dated 1998, I believe, and it hasn't been updated yet. We need to do that. That could be part of it within the strategic plan, something we can do over the next couple of years. I like it.
Yeah, I agree, for some of the same reasons and some different reasons as well. When this was first brought up, I sort of questioned it, like, is this something that we need to do? I spoke to Ben many times about it, and as I asked more questions to him and went back and forth and thought about it more, I think it's something that we absolutely need to do. You know, for some of the same reasons that Alderman Deskin said, but also, like Ben and Steve pointed out, you know, the last plan that we did expires soon. I mean, it went through, I think 2016 was what the forecast plan went through, and this was largely put on staff, and the mayor participated in it. But I think one of the greatest things that I like about this council, and I enjoy so much sitting here, is that everybody sitting up here has their own unique views on everything. We're able to sit and discuss things. We don't always agree, but we're all able to have an intelligent conversation about it and understand everyone's point of view. And I think it's a great idea to get all of us involved in a strategic plan, to get everybody's input, and really flush through some of the things that, you know, everybody may see, you know, needs for the city in a different way, and get somebody here that's a professional to try and focus that into something that's productive.
I think I'll speak for the 3 freshmen aldermen, or sophomores now, I guess. For a second. Coming onto the board, everyone's kind of got their mojo already going. Everyone's moving forward. Everyone kind of knows the direction that they're pushing. So it helps the new people to kind of be like, hey, what are our goals? Where are we? You know, everyone kind of comes in eager and trying to change things and do stuff, as long as we know we're all rowing in the right direction. And I would actually say maybe this is a short cycle strategic plan. Maybe we refresh it after every election. It's something, you know, something to talk about. So any new coming aldermen, alderwomen come in, that they can get on board quicker. It would help facilitate getting everyone on board. But I'm for it.
All right. Anybody else? Are we good?
We're good.
Okay. Is this something we need to?
No, I just, it's actually, it's not a contract that requires council approval, so we can move forward. I just wanted to share it all with you to make sure that we were all committed to the time and spending not only individually with this consultant, but also together when we come together. There'll be a couple reports we produce. We'll get together somewhere off-site and do a half-day session, probably 3-4 hours, and then, but I think the real key will be spending some unique time with the consultant one-on-one in regards to how you feel about, you know, the city and where the future's going, so.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Lisa, what do you got?
Mayor, it's a tentative budget calendar for the next budget cycle, and yes, we are ready to start doing this again. July 22nd will be the budget kickoff, where all the budget templates will be distributed to the department heads for them to take a look at. At the end of September, beginning of October, we'll meet with all the elected officials 2 by 2 like we did last year. Also, we have some direct input and feedback from each of you. And then also meet with the department heads to kind of pare down and make it a balanced budget. The first time we'll present to the committee of the whole will be October 19th. We'll have a public hearing on November 2nd, and then we'll seek approval on November 16th. So, any questions about that? We'll be rolling on that pretty soon.
It's the kind of stuff that gets Jason excited.
Oh, I'm so pumped.
Numbers!
I do think that this is laid out well, and, I occasionally get things about being part of, Illinois politics and government and the interesting things that are happening down in Springfield and budgets being presented and possibly passed in an hour, right?
Yeah,
We're looking
let's
at like
just
a
pull that off,
We're
right?
looking at like a 5-month timeline here, maybe 6-month timeline with multiple public dates. And so, it's not perfect, and it's hard when you're a citizen to know what's going on and to keep informed. But, I think being as transparent as we can be, which in my opinion, Lisa does very well. This is great. It's just the kind of information we want to get out there. And if anybody wants to come talk to us about our budgets, they can see the dates that we can have those conversations publicly.
All right. Very good. Thanks, Lisa. Okay, Pam, what do you got?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to just bring a couple items to the attention of the council. As you recall, back in early May, we had some pretty extensive discussion on how we're going to handle vape shops and alternative nicotine shops and tobacco shops. And since our moratorium is quickly coming to an expiration, I just wanted to follow up with a couple things that we had kind of talked about at that May 4th meeting. Ironically enough, after our meeting on May 5th, the FDA ruling came to be. And the Food and Drug Administration has decided now to expand its definition of tobacco products. So it will include electronic cigarettes, all cigars, hookah tobacco, pipe tobacco, and all nicotine gels. What this means is that under this expanded definition now, all these new devices and products, which includes electronic cigarettes and vaping liquids, will need to be approved prior to making it to the shelves of retailers. In addition, any product that entered the market after February 15th of 2007, which was in essence a grandfather time frame that was set by the Tobacco Control Act in 2009, would need to go through the regulatory process. I've read that applications could cost an upwards of $1 million. Per the ruling, electronic cigarette outlets would have 3 months to comply with the new rules, and by August 8th of 2016, the FDA guidelines will be in full force. Some additional things about these regulations is that they're going to focus on increasing transparency as well as keeping adolescents away from products that contain nicotine. Buyers of the products will need to show ID. Health warnings would need to be displayed on the cigarette tobacco products, and free vaping or vending machines for covered tobacco products will only be permissible in adult-only facilities. Also an update on the Smoke-Free Illinois Amendment, which was House Bill 2404. I did a little more background research on that, and this bill actually started on the floor in February of 2015. The original bill was banning the use of electronic cigarettes or vaping products indoors, flat out, couldn't do them anywhere. Subsequently, less than a month later, the representative who proposed the original bill modified it and amended it to say that, well, now it's just going to limit the ban to inside school buildings, on school grounds, and inside state-owned facilities. As of yesterday, this version continues to be in the Rules Committee, so no further activity has occurred on that. In addition, the zoning ordinance text amendments will be scheduled for the Plan Commission on Wednesday, June 8th. The proposed amendments will include, as we talked about, amending the title and definition of tobacco head and smoke shops, creating definitions for vapor lounges, which will be only ancillary to a vapor shop, creating a hookah lounge, hookah cafe, which would be a standalone facility, as well as a cigar lounge or cigar bar, which again would be standalone, and then specifically adding these to the city's use lists. In addition, I will be adding the separation requirements to the zoning ordinance, because we currently have some separation requirements for gun shops and ammunition shops. So it would only make sense that we do a superscript at the end of the use list that also identifies the separation requirements for these types of shops. And they will be what we discussed, distances from schools, parks, any facility that has kids under 18, and then as well as the separation requirement between these types of uses to prevent overconcentration. Lastly, and then once these go to the Plan Commission, the Committee of the Whole will receive them on June 15th to do our discussion and hopefully move forward for the first meeting in July. And then the Municipal Code text amendments, they will also be formally presented to you at the Committee of the Whole on June 15th. Just one thing I just would like to know, when we discussed the issue of perhaps putting some sort of smoke or vapor mist removal system, initially, you know, I wasn't real certain on the types of options that might be available. So I've done a little research on there, and I've talked with our building official, and we have a couple systems that we can look at. One would be a system that essentially just uses a fan or a filter, and what that basically does is it just removes the smoke and or vapor mist from the area. There's also more sophisticated systems, which are evacuation systems, which not only remove the smoke or the vapor mist, but they also bring in equivalent fresh air back into the area. So when we make the presentation, I'll get some more details on these, and then, you know, we can get direction during the Committee of the Whole discussion on what exactly the council would like for us to impose for these types of uses in order to get a license. So that's all I just wanted to do, just kind of bring you up to date on some issues that we talked about. Just so that you're aware of them, so that when we actually make the formal presentation at the Committee of the Whole level, they don't come as a surprise.
Was it decided on whether or not those facilities that actually have smoking inside the building, if they are attached to another building, that they have to have a special filter so that the adjoining business is not getting the, you know, the smoke from the actual business?
Well, we didn't specifically limit it to if it was a standalone or if it was an inline store. I think it was just in general, if someone was going to be having sampling or vaping or the like, right, that these systems would be required. But that is certainly something that we can consider, is that if they're in line, that yes, because you could have an impact on adjacent spaces, that we could do that. Or we could just make them required in general.
My only concern is if a business is existing and then this particular business comes in and is interfering with that business, that could cause problems for the, you know, that original business that was there. So I think we need to have clarification on what we should do in that situation. Everything sounds great, but I think we need to decide now if there's going to be an adjoining building, then if there's going to be a special system in there to clean out the air and not, you know, involve the next building over, or is it going to be a standalone building where those particular shops should be individual because they are, you know, they can stand alone and, you know, and do what the business that they need to do.
Right. And the other thing too is, and I perhaps maybe hastily responded when I believe, I think it was Jason, that had asked whether or not the existing businesses would be grandfathered in. I think Tom and I need to have some conversation about this because perhaps it's not necessarily that they're grandfathered in, but that they're given an extension or extended period of time to comply. So I want to talk to Tom because I don't know. I know with zoning, we can grandfather things in. However, I don't know when we talk about the municipal code, if it's clear cut. So I would like to have further discussion with Tom on that, and we can come up with some, you know, equitable solution that doesn't place a hardship on existing businesses, but eventually gets them into compliance with whatever new businesses would be required to do.
Fair enough.
Thanks for the update, Pam. Interesting about the FDA regulation. I think you said it came out the day after we had our original discussion.
Yes.
So as of August 6th, any business that sells any of the liquid that's used in this, they're not going to be able to sell anything that's not approved by the FDA. Is that right?
I guess I'm not real clear. I mean, it would read that might be the case, but I don't know if, again, because if you have existing operations, there may be some sort of, extended opportunity. I don't know. Again, I guess I would want to talk with Tom about this, just to be sure how that would affect existing businesses.
Yeah, because I mean, it seems to me that, I obviously don't run a vape shop, but they would buy supplies to sell for months out in advance so they don't run out. So
Right.
if that just recently came down, a business may have liquid, 6 months, a 6-month supply, and if it's not FDA approved, are they going to be selling it still, or are they not allowed to sell it still? And then I would assume that the FDA is not going to be going out to all the vape shops
Right.
and regulating whether they are doing that or not. So who does that fall on? Does that fall on local enforcement, or is it just slide? I don't know.
I will look into that, and I will talk with Tom, and we'll get an answer when this comes back.
Well, I think an answer to your question is actually, I think it might be a good idea, say, maybe one of the meetings in July, to actually have an owner of one of the vape shops to actually come here and say, look, what as of August 6th, what are you guys required to do? Okay? Because they're going to know much better than,
Right.
so I will actually ask the owner of one of the vape shops, if he would be available in one of the 2 meetings in July.
It's a good question, Tom. Maybe is that the health department that regulates FDA stuff?
Actually, what the new regulations do, the one clear thing is that it prohibits the sale of vape products to people under the age of 18. And then there's a pre-market review that's to take place. The problem is that there are products already out on the market that are being sold today. You could walk into a vape shop and purchase these. So before the August 6th effective date, there will have to be some kind of decision made by the FDA as to how they handle existing products and their safety. The other thing that's happened since the release of the FDA regulations is that there's been lawsuits filed challenging those regulations. So we're really not sure what the impact of litigation will have on the effective date, the August 6th date. From our perspective, our focus is not necessarily on what the FDA is regulating. Whatever the FDA is authorized to regulate, they'll continue to do that, and vape shops will be obligated to follow those regulations. I think for our focus, it's on the zoning issue. I'll work with Pam, and when we get this to the Planning and Zoning Commission, we'll have a firm recommendation that will come back to you eventually.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, guys, for continued work on this. Well, that's everything, huh? Mr. Bob Lowe, the grinder. What do you got? They're canceling the grinder. My wife is very upset. Robert Lowe, the grinder. Don't you guys watch TV? Oh my gosh. Come on up, man.
Either that handsome or that wealthy.
You're at least that handsome.
Yes.
Well,
You're being political. My name Bob Lowe, 16832 Charleston Circle, and I'm just take a few minutes to talk about really the challenges and really some of maybe obstacles that are taking place in some of our local schools. All of the Lockport schools are certainly important, but the ones I want to focus on are the Taft District 90 and the one I have more familiarity with, the Fairmont 89. Now, I know it's been in the papers. They've both lost very able superintendents. One at Taft, they have a new individual they're working with. Fairmont, the superintendent will be leaving this month, and then they'll have their hands full again with a search for another one. And the reason I say that, there are a number of challenges that, again, have been publicized in the media. One of them certainly is funding. Taft attempted to pass a bond issue to help with their infrastructure. That was turned down, so they've got their issues there. Fairmont is looking into a longer-term infrastructure, life safety type repairs. But again, the idea, the concern is, where's the money going to come from? Is there a secure source? Is there a stable source? And then that comes back to the state of Illinois, where a budget has to be prepared at these schools when they are not even aware how that budget will be effectively funded, if indeed it is. So those are the financial issues. And then, at least in terms of Fairmont, now the school year is pretty much over, but they've got a full plate. Their fiscal year ends end of June. They've got to prepare a budget. They have the financial auditor who comes in once a year. That's going to take place. They're negotiating a new teacher's contract. And then, of course, in the fall, we have the tax levy coming up again. So all of this, they have to try to reconcile without a superintendent, and trying then to get someone in and work with this person, and all this then also to prepare for a new school year. And as I said at some of the meetings when I was still on the board, I'm concerned, how this looks to the community, how it looks to the staff, to the students, as far as the long-term stability of the school. And as I've advocated at some of these meetings, you first of all, you need the tangible, empathetic support of the stakeholders involved. And a meeting or so ago, Bob Morris was up here with his Lockport Prayer Warriors, where they include these various government agencies in their thoughts, in their prayers, and I'd certainly ask that he and his people and that others within Lockport of faith and goodwill also have all the Lockport schools, but again, I'd specifically hone in on Taft and Fairmont, because I really think they need all the help they can get right now from the folks down here and even from the fellow upstairs. Because if these schools can't get it right, and now this doesn't matter that the kids are black or white or yellow or brown, like the mayor mentioned about the vandalism. I heard again Memorial Weekend, more shootings. If these schools can't get it right with these kids, the society is going to be a heck of a lot worse than it is now, and everyone's going to suffer. So really, these schools need our attention. They need our prayers and support, because that's our future. That's all I have.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for the update. I know that schools aren't under our jurisdiction, but we things that we do in the city influence them, and so we will. And I will certainly bring that up with Bob Morris. I know that their prayer day is next Tuesday on the 7th, and I know that in the past we've walked and prayed at certain areas, and certainly make Taft and Fairmont a part of that. So thanks for the update, ma'am. All right, anything else for new business?
Just real quick, under miscellaneous, I just wanted to compliment Chief Lemming. I meant to send him a text late last week. I could have swore I saw him pull someone over. And on Memorial Day, I sent him a text. Did I see you pull someone over? And sure enough, he confirmed it. So this was on Memorial Day. He was in the front lines with the troops in action on Memorial Day. Another holiday that he's out there working very hard. A lot of the behind the scenes that the public, they just don't see. So thank you for your service.
Very good.
Wasn't one of us, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say it wasn't me. Who's talking? Who's talking?
What was he looking at?
Mayor, if I could mention, I know Jody wanted us to share the car shows are coming back to Central Square. And it'll be next Monday, June 6th. It'll go through August 29th, every Monday night, except for the 1 week of July 4th weekend. But starting June 6th next week, we've got live entertainment, free face painting, inflatables, the food court, the farmer's market. There's a lot going on. The food court opens at 4. Live entertainment starts at 6:30. The act for June 6th is happens to be the Township Supervisors Band, Ron Alberico, and the Ukulele Moonshiners. And the AARP will be sponsoring a free ice cream social at 6 o'clock. So there's more information on the lockportpark.org website, as well as the cityoflockport.net.
Right on. Car shows are fun. Very good. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Make it.
Second. Jim and Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay. Let's move on to City Council. Can I have a roll call, Alice? You
Sure.
need a moment? Sorry. You and your cranagus over there.
Yes. I'll go ahead and, I have to do it on the video, so.
It's all right, take your time. I'll do some music.
2-minute break?
Yeah, why don't you take a 2-minute break? Sounds like Jim needs a 2-minute break.
2-minute break. Step down and step
Contact
back up.
him, he's blinking off.
But I mean it, man. Ready to roll? Alice, can you do a roll call for the city council meeting?
Yes, I can.
Ooh, sorry. Never had that happen before. My main man, Russ.
Alderman
Yeah.
Petracas.
Here.
Alderman Capadona.
Here.
Alderman Gillogly.
Here.
Alderman Smith is absent. Alderman Deskin.
Here.
Alderman Vandermeer.
Here.
Alderman Parada.
Here.
Alderwoman Bartleson.
Here.
7 present.
All right, my friends, looking to have a motion for a consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Petracas, Alderwoman Bartleson, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so tonight on our consent agenda, we have the regular city council meeting minutes from May 18th. We have the committee of the whole meeting minutes of May 18th, payroll period ending May 22nd. We've got approval of various bills. And then there's the Panatone Alston Construction 355 Corporate Center Subdivision Bond Reduction, which was resolution number 16039. So looking to have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Deskin, seconded by Alderman Peretta. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Alderman Petracas.
Yes.
Capadona.
Yes.
Gillogly.
I vote yes on all matters on the consent agenda, except those that pertain to my employer. On those items, and in this case, item 4, approval of various bills, I abstain from voting.
Okay. Vandermeer.
Yes.
Parada.
I think poor Darren feels left out.
Knock Darren out.
Deskin votes yes,
I
too.
was kidding them, yes.
We're reordering things.
Yes.
Okay.
Keep everybody on their
Strategic
toes.
plan.
Yeah.
The seats are
Darren
moving.
get asked?
Deskin.
Yes.
7 yeas, motion carried.
All right, very good. Alice, you want to talk to us?
Yes, I'm just looking for an approval of the executive session meeting minutes from May 18th, 2016 as presented.
I make a motion to accept those minutes.
Second.
All right, Bartleson and Peretta. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays out there? We good?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Senior Benson, CA1.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, and with your blessing, I'd like to move up PZ1, the Planning and Zoning Commission report, with Pam first. We'll get that approved and then go into the resolution about the tax abatement on CA1, if that's all right. So we would go to the Planning and Zoning Commission report right now.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. This item, which is an amended special use permit for planned industrial development, final development plans, final subdivision plat for Heritage Crossing Corporate Center Unit 6. proposed user Julian Electric. This was presented to the Committee of the Whole on May 18th. Staff provided an overview of the project as well as a summary of the public testimony from the Plan and Zoning Commission meeting. I'm itemized specifically what the approval being requested for this evening is an amendment to the special use permit for a planned industrial development. This would allow the change in the number of lots, overall site design, and total building square footage. Elevation plans for Phase 1 and Phase 2, final development plan, final landscape plan, final plat of subdivision, and a final engineering site plan improvement plans. The owner's representative is here this evening if there are any further questions. The attached ordinance amending the special use permit contains several conditions. One is, if you recall, the cash in lieu of installing the parkway trees on Lamont Road, $4,800 will be obligated to the city and placed in the Parkway Tree Fund. Standard conditions, just reminding the applicant that the financial guarantee or letter of credit or bond is required, as well as engineering fees. And then the total building square footage of the overall business park, referencing the letter written and confirmed by Tim Geisler of ML Realty Partners, that they will have to adjust the square footage elsewhere in the park to stay within the parameters established under the original agreement. Therefore, staff is seeking a motion from the council to approve ordinance number 16-007, which is the ordinance that would approve the special use permit and the final development plans, which include the elevation, landscaping, and site improvement plans, as well as a motion to pass resolution 16-041, which is the resolution which would approve the final plat of subdivision.
All right, well, let's start with a motion for 16-007.
So moved.
Second.
What do we get? Capadona over there and Petrakis. Any discussion? Okay. All right, so we'll do a roll call, please.
Yes. Petrakis?
Yes.
Capadona?
Yes.
Kilogly?
Yes.
Deskin?
Yes.
Vandermeer?
Yes.
Parada?
Yes.
Bartleson?
Yes.
7 yeas, motion carried.
All right, next we'll do motion, need a motion for 16-041.
So moved.
Second.
Petrakis and Galugli. Any other concerns, questions before we move, go to roll call? Good? Alice, please.
Yes. Petrakis?
Yes.
Capadona?
Yes.
Kilogly?
Yes.
Deskin?
Yes.
Vandermeer?
Yes.
Parada?
Yes.
Bartleson?
Yes.
7 yeas, motion carried.
Okay, then we want to jump back now to the CA1.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We'll go back to CA1. This is a resolution approving, now that we've done the final plat, the resolution approving a real estate tax abatement and economic incentive agreement for Julian Electric. That's resolution 16-040. This Julian Electric is a manufacturer of quality wire harnesses and cable assemblies. They've currently in several different buildings up in Westmont. They'll be looking to consolidate in the buildings that you just approved. The proposed incentive will consist of a 50% real estate tax abatement for 5 years with a cap of about $100,000. The same request was approved by Will County recently for their tax abatement on May 19th. We think that we're estimating the tax bill at this point, but we think that the city will be abating about $17,000 each year over the next 5 years. And the city administration is recommending this abatement, and we've been in discussions and talked about this with the petitioners a couple times here with the council, and we're seeking a motion to pass the resolution.
Very good. Have a motion out there?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got Petrakis and Vandermeer. Any thoughts, concerns? All good? All right, can I have a roll call, please?
Bartleson?
Yes.
Parada?
Yes.
Vandermeer?
Yes.
Deskin?
Yes.
Kilogly?
Yes.
Capadona?
Yes.
Petrakis?
Yes.
7 yeas, motion carried.
Thank you. All right. Look forward to you guys being here.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Put 'em up. All right.
Canal Days is coming up. It's not, you can get afloat.
Yeah. Big pile of electrical parts.
Yeah.
All right, man. Tommy, what do you got?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the administrative adjudication ordinance, which we reviewed at the last meeting, is before you for final consideration. It's in the same form as presented at the last meeting. The ordinance updates and incorporates certain state statutory requirements The staff will be involved in implementation. It will take a few weeks to get the process fully implemented, but it will give the staff an additional tool in seeking code enforcement, particularly in the zoning area and in code enforcement. Staff is recommending its approval.
All right, looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Deskin, Alderman Capadona. Any last thoughts?
I just want to, state that the intent of this adjudication process is over the next 12 months, if we have 0 code violations that have to be adjudicated, I would be happy. Okay, that's the point. Is just have people take care of their properties. Okay, but it's good that we have this adjudication process in here. Some people just thumb their nose at the city. It's only a few, probably no more than 15 to 20 properties in the entire city. So I'm hoping that the adjudication officer isn't used in the next 12 months. But if it is, if he or she is, well, that's fine.
All right. I think well said. Anything else? Okay, can we have a roll call, Alice?
Yes. Petracas?
Yes.
Capadona?
Yes.
Delogley?
Yes.
Deskin?
Yes.
Vandermeer?
Yes.
Coretta?
Yes.
Bartleson?
Yes.
7 yeas, motion carried.
Pam, you want to talk about Magenta?
Yes. My last item is a request, the request for assistance through the first person using our fire sprinkler and a fire alarm assistance program was approved by the City Council on February 17th, and that was for Larry Scales, who is the owner of the Magenta property, which is located at 15160 South New Avenue. He has installed the sprinkler system in the existing first and second floor space, total area of about 10,400 square feet. He contracted with the company Extreme Fire Protection. The original quote was for $45,000, 50% being $2,250. Given the cost of the project, he was approved for the maximum amount, which was $15,000. The work has been completed. The fire district has witnessed the required testing, and proof of payment has been submitted. You have all of that documentation included in your packet. There were no other requests or approvals for assistance through this program, so we're still fully funded. And now the applicant is seeking reimbursement from the city. Just to remind everyone that once these funds are released, we will have the required lien completed and executed and recorded against the property. This is a condition of the program so that an owner does not sell or transfer the property of any interest for financial gain over a 3-year period. If that does happen, then they're prorated to return a certain amount of fund back to us. With that being said, staff is recommending approval of the reimbursement in the amount of $15,000 and seeks a motion from the council to approve the same.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Ooh, tie. That's, take your pick.
I'll take
JR
it.
or
Joanne, take it.
I didn't say anything. I'll take it back.
All right. Any other thoughts? We're good? All right, can I have a roll call, please?
Sure. Petracas?
Yes.
Capadona?
Yes.
Delogley?
Yes.
Deskin?
Yes.
Vandermeer?
Yes.
Coretta?
Yes.
Bartleson?
Yes.
7 yeas, motion carried.
All right, my fine feathered friends, I think that's everything. Unless somebody thought of something new. All good? All right, looking for a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we get Jim and Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good.